Imagine standing on the edge of a vast, ancient forest more than 2,000 years ago. Towering trees stretch endlessly into the distance, mist clings to the ground, and somewhere beyond the horizon, thousands of warriors are preparing for battle. Europe is wild and untamed, divided among countless tribes. Few could imagine that this land was about to become the stage for one of history's greatest military campaigns. To the south, a different power is rising. Rome. What began as a small settlement on the Tiber River had grown into the Mediterranean's mightiest republic. Its legions had crushed kingdoms, conquered wealthy provinces, and spread Roman influence across 3 continents. Only one vast region still lay beyond its control: Gaul. Stretching across modern-day France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and parts of Germany and Switzerland, Gaul was a land of dense forests, rushing rivers, rugged mountains, and fertile plains. It was home to dozens of proud Celtic tribes. Though they shared similar languages and traditions, they were fiercely independent and often fought one another. The Gauls were fearless warriors. They dressed in bright colors, carried long swords, and painted their bodies before battle. Their leaders were respected for courage, not wealth. Above all, they valued freedom. To the Romans, Gaul was both an opportunity and a threat. It offered rich farmland, vital trade routes, and valuable metals. But the tribes had raided Roman lands before. If Rome wanted a secure northern border, it could no longer ignore Gaul. At the center of this story stands one ambitious man, Julius Caesar. Intelligent, charismatic, and hungry for greatness, Caesar came from a respected but not especially wealthy Roman family. He had already made a name in politics, but he understood that in Rome, real power belonged to generals who returned home as conquerors. In 58 BC, he was appointed governor of Roman provinces bordering Gaul. Officially, his job was to protect the frontier. Unofficially, he saw the perfect chance to win glory and build a loyal army. That chance soon arrived. A large Celtic tribe called the Helvetii decided to migrate westward in search of new land. Their movement threatened Roman territory, giving Caesar the justification he needed. He ordered one of the most impressive engineering feats of the ancient world: a massive defensive wall nearly 20 miles long, complete with towers, deep trenches, and strong gates. His soldiers built it in just a few weeks, a striking display of Roman discipline and skill. The Helvetii asked for peaceful passage. Caesar refused. When the two forces finally clashed, the difference was clear. The brave but disorganized Gauls charged forward. The Romans held their tight formation. At Caesar's command, thousands of heavy pila flew through the air, smashing into enemy shields and rendering them useless. Then the legions advanced, shield against shield, sword against sword. Step by step, Roman discipline pushed the Gauls back. The battlefield belonged to Rome. This first victory proved that Caesar's army could defeat even Gaul's fiercest warriors. News spread quickly. Some tribes grew fearful. Others began preparing to resist. They had no idea that this was only the beginning. Over the next 8 years, Julius Caesar would lead one of the most remarkable military campaigns in history. Entire tribes would rise against him. Massive battles would shake the land. Brilliant engineering would overcome impossible obstacles. And one final siege would decide the fate of an entire continent. The conquest of Gaul had begun. The defeat of the Helvetii sent shockwaves across Gaul. Tribes that had once seen the Romans as distant outsiders now understood the truth. Julius Caesar wasn't simply defending borders, he was expanding them. News of the Roman victories traveled fast. Gallic leaders gathered to discuss what to do. Some pushed for unity before it was too late, while others still hoped Rome might eventually withdraw. That hesitation gave Caesar valuable time. Every day, the legions marched deeper into unfamiliar territory. Each evening, no matter how far they had come, the soldiers built a strongly fortified camp with trenches, wooden walls, watchtowers, and guarded gates. By morning it was dismantled, and the army moved on. This routine kept them safe and organized far from home. The forests of Gaul were dense and unforgiving. Rivers and narrow valleys offered perfect ambush spots for the Gauls, who knew the land intimately. But Caesar countered with superior engineering. Whenever they reached a river, his troops built sturdy bridges in just a few days, allowing the entire army, horses, and wagons to cross easily. Next, Caesar faced the Belgae, some of the bravest and strongest tribes in northern Gaul. They gathered tens of thousands of warriors, hoping to crush the Romans with sheer numbers. When the armies met, the contrast was dramatic. The Gauls charged with loud battle cries and raw courage. The Roman legion stood silent, shields locked. At Caesar's command, thousands of pila flew forward, breaking the charge. Then the disciplined legionaries advanced together and slowly pushed the Belgae back until their army broke. With each victory, Caesar's reputation grew. Some tribes surrendered without fighting. Others offered hostages and accepted Roman authority. He built roads, protected supply lines, and formed alliances, turning every conquered area into a stepping stone. Then came one of the campaign's most impressive feats. Across the wide and dangerous Rhine River lived powerful Germanic tribes. In only 10 days, Roman engineers constructed a massive wooden bridge. Thousands of legionaries marched across it into Germanic lands, sending a clear message: no river or frontier was beyond Rome's reach. Caesar then ordered the bridge dismantled, a powerful warning, not an occupation. By now, Caesar's army was battle-hardened and highly experienced. But deep in Gaul, a young nobleman named Vercingetorix watched with growing resolve. He believed Rome could still be defeated, if only the tribes united. The greatest challenge of Caesar's life was about to begin. For years, Julius Caesar had marched across Gaul with almost no equal. Tribe after tribe had fallen before the disciplined Roman legions. Many surrendered. Others were crushed. With every victory, Rome's grip on the land grew tighter. But beneath the surface, resentment was building. The Gauls had watched their territories disappear one by one. They saw Roman roads replace ancient paths, forts rise where forests once stood, and Roman standards fly over long free settlements. They finally understood that if they kept fighting separately, they would all be defeated. Among them rose a young Arvernian noble named Vercingetorix. Unlike many other leaders, he truly understood Roman strength. He knew courage alone wasn't enough. The Gauls needed unity, discipline, and a smarter strategy. He traveled from tribe to tribe, calling for something that had never existed before: a united Gaul. Old rivalries ran deep, and many leaders hesitated. But the Roman threat proved stronger than ancient feuds. Slowly, thousands answered his call. Soon, tens of thousands joined him. For the first time, Caesar faced not scattered tribes, but a large, united Gallic army. Vercingetorix chose a ruthless plan. He would deny the Romans anything they could use. Villages were abandoned and burned. Food stores destroyed. Fields set on fire. Bridges demolished. Livestock driven away. Even wells were poisoned in some places. Smoke from burning settlements filled the sky for weeks. The strategy worked. As Caesar advanced, food became harder to find. Supply lines stretched dangerously thin. Yet Caesar refused to retreat. He pushed forward, determined to force a decisive battle. One city refused to follow the scorched earth order. Its people begged to defend their homes. That city was Avaricum. Vercingetorix reluctantly agreed. Caesar saw his chance and immediately laid siege. Roman engineers built massive ramps and siege towers despite constant attacks and heavy rain. After weeks of brutal effort, the Romans stormed the walls. Fierce fighting filled the streets, but Roman discipline prevailed. Avaricum fell, sending a chilling message across Gaul: no fortress was truly safe. Still, Vercingetorix refused to give up. He gathered an even larger force. Warriors from nearly every corner of Gaul joined him: swordsmen, spearmen, archers, and skilled cavalry. Never before had Caesar faced such a united enemy. The campaign had entered a deadly new phase. The Gauls were no longer running. They were organized, confident, and dangerous. Every forest could hide an ambush. Every hill might conceal thousands of warriors. The decisive moment came at the fortified hilltop town of Alesia. Vercingetorix chose the position carefully, trusting its natural defenses. When Caesar arrived, he didn't attack right away. Instead, he made a stunning decision: he would surround the city completely. The greatest siege in Roman history was about to begin. The hills around Alesia were unlike any battlefield Caesar had ever faced. Steep ridges protected the Gallic stronghold from every side, making a direct attack extremely difficult. Inside the fortress, Vercingetorix waited with nearly 80,000 warriors. Their supplies were limited, but they hoped a relief army would arrive before hunger set in. Most commanders would have launched an immediate assault. Caesar chose something far bolder. He ordered his army to surround the entire city. Thousands of legionaries began digging trenches, raising wooden towers, and building massive earth walls. They dug hidden pits filled with sharpened stakes and buried iron traps across the ground. In the end, the Roman fortifications stretched more than 10 miles around Alesia. But Caesar knew the real danger was coming. A huge Gallic relief army was already marching toward them. Ancient writers claimed it numbered over 200,000 warriors. The Romans were now trapped between two enemy forces, one inside Alesia and one outside. There was no retreat. For days, fierce fighting raged without pause. Gallic warriors charged from all directions. War horns echoed across the valleys as arrows darkened the sky and stones crashed into Roman lines. The Romans fought day and night, repairing their walls even while under attack. Time after time, the Gauls nearly broke through, but Roman discipline held firm. At the most critical moment, Caesar mounted his horse, wearing his distinctive red cloak, and rode straight into the heaviest fighting. Seeing their general in the thick of battle, the exhausted legionaries found new strength. Fresh reserves rushed forward, and Roman cavalry struck the Gallic relief force from the flank. Chaos erupted. The massive relief army began to fall apart and retreat. Panic spread through the Gallic ranks. Inside Alesia, Vercingetorix watched helplessly as his last hope vanished. The next morning, silence fell over the hills. Realizing further resistance would only bring more suffering, Vercingetorix made a final, noble decision. Dressed in his finest armor, he rode out of the gates, dismounted before Caesar, and laid down his weapons in surrender. With the fall of Alesia, organized resistance across Gaul collapsed. After 8 long years of war, Rome had conquered one of Europe's largest territories. In the years that followed, Roman roads, cities, trade, law, and culture spread across the land. The conquest made Caesar richer, more famous, and more powerful than ever. But his growing influence frightened many in Rome and helped spark a civil war that would end the Roman Republic and give birth to the Roman Empire. Even today, more than 2,000 years later, The traces of Caesar's campaign remain visible in ancient roads, bridges, and ruins scattered across Europe. The conquest of Gaul was more than a military victory. It was a triumph of discipline over numbers, engineering over nature, and ambition over fear. One man's vision that forever changed the course of Western history.